Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar. We are very happy to have all of you here. My name is Professor Jihan Chobanoğlu. I am from University of South Florida. We'll do the formal introductions in a second, but I just want to double check. As you know, that we are hosting this webinar on Zoom, as I see that about 20 of us are here. And also we are streaming this particular session on YouTube. If you're listening this on YouTube, and if you have any questions later on, please feel free to use the comment box. From time to time, we will go and check that as well. For those of you who are on Zoom, welcome again. It's privilege, we are very honored to host you here and share you what we have in terms of integrating technology into a hospitality class. Without further ado, I would like to go ahead and start. I would like to share our PowerPoint slides with you, and then we are going to get going again one more time. Welcome to the webinar, using hotel management software in your hospitality class or classes. Once more, my name is Dr. Jihan Chobanoğlu. I'm the McKibben Endowed Chair Professor at the University of South Florida in the MoMA College of Business in the School of Hospitality and Tourism Management. With me, I have the pleasure of having Dr. Katerina Berezina. Dr. Berezina, welcome to the webinar.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for the introduction.
If you please also a little bit tell about yourself, Dr. Berezina, to our viewers so they know who you are.
Hello, everyone, and I'm very excited to welcome such a great audience at our webinar today. I am an assistant professor at the University of Mississippi. I teach courses usually related to hospitality technology and other courses in the hospitality curriculum. And I have been coordinating the Inroad University program for several years right now, and I work with all faculty members who are interested in adopting the program and reviewing the curriculum, and I'm also offering training for all faculty members if you're interested. In addition to that, we provide support to students who are in the program. So I hope that you will find this webinar interesting, and I hope to have a chance to work with you in the future.
Thank you, dear Katerina. Katerina, a little bit personal story about Katerina, that Katerina actually came to University of Delaware, which was my previous institute for University of South Florida. And she was my master's student, which I was very lucky, I guess. I'm very lucky to have her as my master's student. But later she finished her master's at University of Delaware, then got her PhD at University of Florida. And now she's working. She actually was part of our university for some time before she moved to University of. But I'm proud of her as usual. I would like to also mention that publicly.
Thank you, and I'm very happy to have you as my mentor.
Thank you, Katerina. Okay, without further ado, we would like to go ahead and start today's topic. As you know, we have advertised this session, and for those of you again, one more time, who are on Zoom call with us, if you were to have any questions, in two ways. You can just simply ask us, you can interrupt, that's okay. Or write in the questions section in Zoom. For those of you who are on YouTube, if I see that there are a few people there, and if you're on YouTube, you can also write comments in the comment section. As I have told you, once we finish the presentation, we are going to have time for questions. So we really are happy that you are here, and we want this to be interactive session with all of you. So in terms of the agenda, we are going to talk a little bit about, very quickly, philosophy of teaching with technology, and what is Inroad, the focus of today's software application. Inroad University program. Inroad is a software you will learn more about in a second, but we also have integrated this Inroad, which is a hotel management software, into a university curriculum. So you will see that, and actually we are going to show you Inroad in action. You are going to see it just like normally you would use it in your classroom, or your students would use it. And again, at the end, if you have any further questions, you will be able to do it. But before we I went over the housekeeping items for the session is concerned. Again, if you have any questions before we start, please do so. And I see that there are some chat items are coming. People are saying to us from Ukraine, from India, oh my God, and also from Delaware, which is so good. Very, very nice to see all of you from all around the world. So welcome one more time. Okay, we want to start. We have about 25 people in the session with us right now. Very quick poll, just to, um, okay, I don't know why. Katerina, can you try to share poll? Maybe I am not longer the host. It doesn't allow me. Does it allow you to bring the poll to
I
you?
think it does. I clicked on launch polling. So
Okay, please do that then, Katerina, if you don't mind.
yes, I did. And I see that we have 16% voted right now.
Oh, good, perfect. You should see a poll item in your Zoom, and I'm going to also try to see. Just log in as a presenter. Oh, I see.
Yes, we have about 50% of responses that came back so far. And we are running two questions. The first one, what is your main area of teaching? And also, do you use technology applications in your classes? So I will give it a little bit more time. We are getting close to 70%. And once everybody has a chance to participate, we will close the poll and share the results.
And while you are doing that, Katerina, I would like to also feature our audience member from Oman, and of course Chanel is from Virginia Tech. So nice. From Bahamas, Uzbekistan. Oh my God, unbelievable. We've got people from all around the world. You know, when we cannot travel, to see people from other countries make me extremely happy. So before, of course, always, uh, oh, from Egypt also, to welcome to all of you. It's really
That's
during this
excellent.
pandemic times that I didn't travel for a long time. You think you can share with us, Katerina, the result?
Yes, absolutely.
North Cyprus, India, they are keep coming in. Wonderful, wonderful. I didn't see anything since I guess I'm a presenter. I don't see it, but maybe you may want to just read it
I'm
out.
sharing the results right now, and everybody who's in the audience should see a pop-up on their Zoom
But in YouTube,
panel.
they may not say it. So if you please cover that, Katerina, that would be great.
Sure. So we have about equal split between hotel operations as a teaching area and tourism and travel, and then followed by marketing area, management area, and we have a few people who are teaching food and beverage and others. And we actually have quite a lot of participants, 84%, who already use different technology applications in their classes, and
Very
about
nice.
16% said that they haven't used any technology.
Very, very nice. This is great.
Thank you all
Wonderful.
so much
Thank
for
you, Katerina.
participating.
Very nice. Thank you to all of you for participating. Okay, let's go ahead and get started again. You know, for those of you who know me, they probably know this philosophy that I have, that sometimes people tell that why would you teach technology in a class? And because their idea is that technology always changes. By the time students graduate, there's something else out there, and they say that it's obsolete. Even though I agree that technology changes very rapidly, but what I don't agree is this, that technology, if we were to use learning how to drive analogy, is the same thing. Imagine that I'm teaching somebody how to drive with a Ford, the car on the left of the screen. And I say to him or her, here's the, the gear, here's the key, here's the headlights. And then after some time, if that person goes and drives a Toyota, that person will be able to drive that Toyota much quicker than if they've never driven a car before. So if you teach them Inroad, Fidelio, Visual One, you name it, any kind of technology application in the hotel management area or restaurant management like micros, etc., it will be the same in terms of when these students go to another place, that they will be able to actually utilize this software very quickly. In addition, that when they actually see it in action, they understand even better the concepts that you cover in the theory in your classes. So for that reason, Katerina and I are running this program for almost 15 years now. I, as a professor, that I'm using some kind of technology in my classes for over 20 years. So Inroad actually is a real life web-based property management system. This property management system is actually indeed working right now. If you had a hotel and if you wanted to have a hotel management system or property management system, as other people call it, or check-in, check-out software, whatever name that you're using, you could actually go to Inroad as one of the players in the marketplace and utilize it. You can also go to Fidelio and purchase Opera or Visual One. There is many. I think there is more than 100, maybe even more than that, different property management systems that helps you to manage a hotel, check them in, check them out, and all the other accounting, which you are going to see some of the functions in time. So this is actually a real life software. So it's not a simulation. It's not something that we created. Neither Katerina nor I have anything to do with Inroad as a software. It's actually a professional company based in Manhattan, New York. And believe it or not, they started as a startup, and now it's really a very nice, mature company. And we are very happy working with them as a partner. And they have been actually providing us this platform for students, more than 5,000 students for the last several years that we are doing it. And the best news, as far as I'm concerned, that it is web-based. What that means is that you do not need to ask your students to install any other software in their desktop, laptop, or anything. Inroad can be accessed by from a laptop, from even a mobile phone. I've never actually tried in a mobile phone, but it's mobile enabled. You can try. We don't really recommend it because usually a laptop screen or desktop screen is better, although that you can, I mean, I've heard that students are using in different platforms. And then we are going to show that to you in a second. But, you know, we don't want to just give it to you. Here's Inroad, use it. We know that it's not easy to actually use a software so easily without, if you don't know that particular software. There is a learning curve, although Inroad is really an easy software to learn, in my opinion. And again, when you are seeing Katerina a little bit later showing you in action, you will hopefully be able to understand that. But also, we will be happy to give you a test trial. If any of you after this webinar says that, you know what, Jihan and Katerina, I really want to check it out, let us know. It doesn't cost you any money. And we'll tell about the fee structure in a second. But what we have done as the educators, because we are actually teaching with Inroad before we start, you know, offering this program to others, we actually have done this many years in our classes. As a matter of fact, Katerina, when she was my student 1 year ago, I should not tell your age, Katerina. I know some more than 1 year ago, but anyway, that actually she used that in one of my classes, this particular software, maybe some others that I have used at that time. But we actually have login instructions, exercises with tutorials, and that shows your students step-by-step instructions how to use the software. Gözde Türktarhan here, Dr. Gözde Türktarhan is here. She also used this software. She helped me teach one of the classes in Taiwan, and she have never seen before, but she captured that very quickly herself as well. Maybe after the session, if we have time, we can ask her her experience about the software. But we have these tutorials that students can go step by step, learn by themselves. So you really even don't have to teach them technically, but you are welcome to cover this in your classes if you are doing face-to-face class, or like we are doing Zoom or any other Teams or Google Meet, whatever that you are using. And of course, we also have support for you. This support is different than the Inroad support. Inroad has their support, but that's for the paying customers. Because we technically pay, your students will pay a fee, small fee. I think it's 14.99 if I'm not mistaken. That they are not going to get that support from Inroad, but from us. When I say from us, the team from Katerina, myself, and the M3 Center at the University of South Florida. We've got some graduate students also who are helping us, and also visiting scholars, just like Gözde is doing like this. So, and now, it's enough talking. So I would like to turn the floor to Katerina and to show us what that really looks like. And then again, Katerina, do we have any questions meanwhile before we?
No, I don't see any questions so far. We have a
I'm
lot
just
of hellos
sharing,
from all around
Katerina.
the world, but no questions so far.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. I see that also too. Many people are joining us. We have 27 people here and some more in YouTube. Okay, Katerina, I'm gonna stop sharing. And if you don't mind, please go ahead and show us what Inroad University and Inroad software look like.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So I will first share the resources that we have prepared, as Dr. Jihan explained, and then I will also take you through the live demo of the system. So all of the exercises and assignments that Dr. Jihan talked about are published on the website, which is inroaduniversity.com. And that is the website that you should currently see on your screens that I'm sharing from my browser. When you come to this website, you will see several sections. The first one is for students, and this is where all exercises and assignments are housed. And then we also have a section for instructors. So the instructors section has learning objectives that we are going to look at in a second, and also a syllabus add-on. So if you would like to use Inroad and include it in your syllabus, there is a standard language that you can copy from the website and customize to the needs of your class and your students. So when we look at the learning objectives, you will see that there are 9 different assignments that are published here in the learning objectives section. And if you start looking at the exercises and their learning objectives, you will see that our assignments and exercises increase in difficulty like a snowball. So we start with very basic concepts of room availability, studying and learning how the system looks like, how to see that the rooms are available, and then making a basic reservation with just the reservation, checking the guest in and checking them out. And as students progress in the program, they will be posting charges, then also, they will be voiding and modifying those charges, applying discounts. At the advanced level, they will be working with 2 different folios, such as splitting charges between different folios, either for the same person, for business and personal expenses, or between 2 travelers who are sharing the room. And then we also have a group reservation, which is a fairly small scenario that we created with 2 rooms being grouped together so that it's not so tedious and boring for students to work through the exercise, but at the same time, they will see all of the elements of a group reservation, such as picking up the rooms, master folio, master bill, and so on. Then we also have a travel agency reservation, and our hotel is not really being distributed through any travel agencies. So for that reason, students set up their own travel agency in the system, and then they link the reservation to that account. And that's why they see how that connection would work. And also if they do everything correctly, then the travel agent would receive a commission. And the last one here is a housekeeping. So here students will need to generate housekeeping reports and, for example, put the room out of order. So you see that these learning objectives, they are exactly the same for exercises and assignment of the same level. As Dr. Jihan explained, the exercises come with tutorials, however, assignments don't. So the assignments is an assessment instrument for your students to show that they have learned the system. Also, when you're thinking about adopting Inroad, I wanted you to know that you can choose all of the exercises and take them from the website, or you can select only those that you think are appropriate to your level of students and the class that you're teaching. So for example, if you think that the basic reservation is too simple for your students, then you may choose to pick up at the advanced reservation level and move forward. Or you can walk your students through the entire program. So with that, I wanted to take you to the Students tab and show you how the exercises and assignments look like. So if we go to the exercises section, you will see that this page explains to students why they are reading this page, what's here, and that exercises is a learning tool for students to try different scenarios in the system and also learn how it works. So you will see that each exercise is labeled, that it's an exercise, and it also says that there is a step-by-step process, and the level of this exercise is a basic reservation. So we just looked with you at the learning objectives, and you know that the basic reservation just requires students to make a reservation and check guests in and then check them out. So every exercise or assignment comes with a small scenario, such as this one that we see right now on the screen, where a student assumes the position of a front desk agent at the university hotel. And we usually use the university hotel because it's universal and it works for all different schools that have adopted the program. So, and then you will also see that students will be provided with all information that is needed for them to complete a reservation, such as arrival date, departure date, the name, address, and the credit card number. So you will see that we indicate that arrival date should be today's date, and that's created for the purpose so that students can progress through the exercises in one sitting. So in the hotel business, if you make a reservation for the future, then you have to wait until that day to check the guests in. So it's not the case in education. Students often want to make a reservation and then check the guests in and check them out and complete the entire exercise on the same day. So for that reason, it's important to use today's date, and tomorrow's date is just here to indicate that this will be, the duration of stay will be one night. So then we also give the students the name of the guest, and you will see that it says Clayton Linnell and then underscore student ID. So this is done for the purposes of distinguishing between different guests. So imagine that if you have a class of 30 students, and then all of them work on these exercises. In that case, you will have 30 reservations made for Clayton Lino, and it will be quite hard to know who has done which reservation. So, however, if students attach some sort of an identifier, such as their student ID that usually schools have, or their own last name, then it will allow everybody to understand in the system that who that reservation belongs to. So for example, I would make reservation for Clayton Linal Berezina, and Dr. Jihan would make reservation for Clayton Linal Chabanoglu, and then we can search for our own reservation and we can understand who made which one. So you will also see that there is a credit card number that is provided. It's a fake number, but the system accepts that. And after the scenario, you will see that the step-by-step process starts. So here you will see a sequence of steps that students need to take to complete this particular exercise. And as Dr. Jihan mentioned, you can either walk students through the step-by-step process, or you can ask them to study these instructions by themselves, just like they read a textbook chapter. So they can follow the steps and practice in that way. So from that perspective, the program is perfectly fit for face-to-face and online instructions, and I myself have used that in both modes of delivery without any problems. So you will see that every step is accompanied with screenshots, and on some screenshots, when the screen gets busier, we also use highlights and pointers to explain to students which type of information they need to fill out and where to click and how to move forward. So if we keep scrolling down, then 14 pages fast forward, we will be done with the exercise. So this is a very quick overview of an exercise and the step-by-step process. Dr. Jihan, do we have any questions that are relevant at this point?
No, Katerina, I am monitoring them. We don't have any questions. There are some people ask me specific questions, but I answered them with them.
Excellent.
Somebody asked how they can utilize this software, but we're going to share that later as well. So please
Thank
continue.
you. Absolutely, sure. So then I would also like to take you on the assignment side and very quickly show you how it looks. So we looked with you at the basic level. So I will do the same for the assignments. And if we click on this link, then you will see that right now the heading of this document says that it's an assignment. It also indicates that it's a basic reservation level, and you don't see the step-by-step process mentioned anywhere in the document anymore. So the layout of the scenario and the assignment will be very similar, with just some details being slightly different, such as the guest name, the purpose why they visited the hotel, the reason why they left, and everything that is relevant to their stay. However, if students have already learned how to make a reservation for Clayton Linnell, then there is no difficulty for them to create a reservation for Lisa Detman. So if I scroll down on the page, you will see that this is only one page document, and then the scenario ends explaining that Ms. Detman left the hotel, and it just says good luck, and there is nothing else to follow, as we saw in the step-by-step process. So as I explained before, this is an assessment instrument, and once students learned by using the instructions, they should be able to complete a very similar scenario covering the same functionality of the system by themselves without any assistance. So, and this is how the exercises and assignments work. So faculty members who are usually trained, they often ask me how they can use these different resources in their teaching. And I have seen different models. So for example, for my classes, and I teach hospitality technology. So I select not all of the exercises, but just some of them for those weeks that are relevant to the lodging technology systems. And then I would usually create an assignment in our learning management system and place both documents of the same level, such as basic exercise with step-by-step tutorial and the basic reservation. And in the instructions to the assignment, I would explain my students that they can read the exercise or they can follow the exercise. But for the purpose of this assignment, they need to complete the reservation according to that scenario that is in the assignment document. So,
Katerina,
yes,
there is one question. I think it's right here. Maybe you can address.
sure.
One of our viewers is asking that is there a rubric that accompanies the assessment, or do I decide on that myself? Maybe.
Yes, we don't have a rubric, and usually all professors decide by themselves, and I will explain the reason for that. So, for example, we have seen that the program can be integrated into a variety of different courses, such as Introduction to Hospitality, Lodging, Front Office courses, Hospitality Technology. So, in all of these courses, you will go to a different extent explaining the way how lodging operations work. And you will also cover different aspects. So for example, in the introduction to hospitality, if your student missed the guest email, they didn't enter the guest email when they were making a reservation, you may be a little bit lenient with that and say that it's okay. They were able to create a reservation. They put the majority of the information in. They could check the guest in, could check the guest out, but they just forgot one detail. So, however, if you teach a lodging course and, for example, you have spent some time in the classroom discussing how to build relationship with customers, how to do, for example, service recovery, how this email information is very important to stay in touch with guests and send them follow-up emails, surveys, and promotions in the future. So then you may think that, well, forgetting that email is actually very important and sort of detrimental for the business. So from that perspective, you actually, I think, would be a better person to judge what elements of this reservation have larger weight, because you know your teaching and your class content and what you give the importance to. However, we provide the answer keys for this reservation so that you as a professor can see how the final product should look like. And it also summarizes all of the details for you. And I can show it to you as well, since we are talking about this right now. So if we look at the basic reservation assignment, then here is an answer key. And the final document would be a guest statement. It's a PDF file that the system produces, and it's a very easy way for professors, I think, to grade the work. You can, of course, log into the system as well and check from there, but I usually prefer to have this PDF file saved and submitted to me through the e-learning management system, or maybe if you prefer to use email or any other option that you like. So, but just to show you quickly what's going on here is that I highlighted the information that students should enter when they are making this reservation. So basically, you can look at it and say, oh, okay, so there are, for example, 10 important pieces of information, and I'm giving my students 20 points. So, and then you can decide what is more important. So, for example, when I grade this assignment, I usually give more importance to the ability of creating the reservation, and then less importance to every single aspect, such as forgetting an email or forgetting a phone number. So, but if you use the system, then we will provide the set of answer keys with the highlighted information that you need to be looking for when you're grading. And then we leave it to the instructor to decide on the importance and weight of each of the attributes. So I hope that helps. And if we don't have any other questions, I think that I will switch to the system demonstration and walk you through the system to show you how it looks and what you can expect when you go in. So when you log into the system, and I am already logged in because I was preparing for the session, but usually the way how it works is that if you adopt the Inroad University program, then your hotel or your class, if there are, in some schools, we have several professors who use Inroad, so your class will receive a separate hotel. So I usually tell my students, congratulations, we got a brand new hotel to ourselves, and you can run it without any risk of losing money. So all students act as front desk agents in this hotel, and they can see all aspects of the system. And then they can also see reservations made by other students. So this particular aspect is sometimes surprising, especially to those students who are not familiar with the hospitality industry and who don't have any work experience, because students are usually used to submitting their assignments directly to the professor, and then the professor returns their feedback. So, however, in this case, all students will be able to see the work created by everybody else. So as Dr. Jihan explained, this is a real-life hotel property management system. And let's say if Dr. Jihan and I are front desk agents, then he makes a reservation, but I may be the agent who checks the guest in. So when students log into the system, every class will have a specific client code that defines their hotel, and every student will have an individual login so that you can see who did the work, and then that will be also reflected on the reservation as well. So when we look around on this homepage, you will see that there is a horizontal menu at the top, and there are several functions, such as for reservations, accounts, and guest services. So those may be called more of guest-facing features. Then there is inventory, setup, and admin. So this is more for setup. And when we return the hotel to you, it will be fully set with 700 rooms and 7 different room classes with 100 rooms in each. So it's really a large hotel, and for that reason, it serves as a perfect playground for your students to learn and create as many reservations as they want. So unless you have a very large class, students need to work hard to fully book this hotel. And then we also have a night audit function, and we have reports. So I wanted to show you quickly how to make a reservation, and As Dr. Jihan mentioned, this is very intuitive, and I think that you will agree that that's so. So to make a reservation, we will just demonstrate an individual reservation, and you can see that there is a special section for groups where you would go to work on a group exercise. But for the purposes of this demo, I just wanted to quickly make a reservation for an individual traveler, and I will click on the new reservation. And you will see that the system will default to today's date and 1 night duration of stay. So if you choose to, you can use the calendar to extend your stay and modify it. And I also mentioned to you that it's very important to keep the arrival date or check-in date as today's date so that we can actually complete the entire exercise in one sitting. So you can modify the number of adults and, for example, the number of children, and we'll need to find a room. So in this case, the system will be looking for all types of rooms that are able to accommodate 2 adults. And that's actually all 7 room types. So, but if I were to change, for example, to 5 adults and try to search for a room again, you will see that some of the room types will disappear. So I will go with a king suite, for example, and then I will select this room. You will see that on the right-hand side, the system provides a trip summary so that you can instantly see the total charge for the room and also the um, taxes that are added to the room charge. And I will just click on next. So then the students will be presented with a guest information form, which is very standard types of information that usually every hotel collects. So as you have seen in our exercises and assignments, we usually provide students with all this information for the guest, their phone number, email address, physical address, city, state, and so on. So for the purposes of this exercise, I will use a shortcut and uncheck this create guest profile option, and you will see that those boxes that were highlighted in red, meaning that they are required, are not highlighted anymore. So I can move forward faster. And then there is a block for payment information. So that is also provided in the assignment, as you have seen. So I will use our payment card that was provided on the reservation. And we have had students who were very curious students, and they were asking us why this is a real life system, but it accepts a clearly fake credit card number. So that's because the system looks exactly and functions exactly in the same way how a hotel would see it. However, some aspects of the system are disabled for educational purposes. And those couple of places are the credit card processing, because we actually don't want to run this transaction, and also the distribution landscape. So we don't put these hotels on Expedia or Booking.com or any other distribution channels that are out there. So, so students will see a presence of those aspects in the system, but for example, the credit card processing is not fully functioning. So then students can also enter marketing information, and some of this information is provided in the scenarios, and they can modify it according to the example that is provided to them. And students also can add different add-ons or tasks or notes for the reservation based on the guest request or any
Katerina,
other. Yes.
while you are at here, there is one question
Sure.
that one of our viewers is asking: if all the students do the same reservation, will we have 25 same reservations? How do we address that?
Yes, so that part is addressed through the guest name that I was showing in the assignment. For all students, we ask them to create a reservation, for example, for Lisa Detman, and then add a student ID, such as a student number that universities usually give, or their own last name. So I would make it Lisa Detman Berezina, and Dr. Jihan would make it Lisa Detman Chobanoglu. So then the professor and the student and everybody else who's using the system would be able to distinguish between those reservations. So for example, if a student decides to take a break and create a reservation, but then come back later to do the check-in and check-out, they can save their reservation and later find it by using that exact name. So if I go back, I will just say book now, assuming that I filled out all of the information that was provided in the assignment. You will see that right now at the top of the reservation, there is a green box that says that it was reserved, and it also gives me a confirmation number. So I will just close it for now. And once I completed the reservation, you will see that in the green box at the very top of this page, there is now a check-in button, which is active, and that allows me to go right to the check-in. So but also, if we take a moment to look around on this page and study the sort of the sections of this reservation, you will see that there is a details tab, and that contains everything that I just entered, right? So I cut some corners to save time, but you will see basically the same form that I was just working on, but filled out. Then there is also the guest folio, which is automatically created, and the room charge is added there. There is also a history, which allows you to see who worked on that reservation. So for example, you can also check in the system that that was Katerina who created this booking. And then there is also a separate section for documents. Right now, we don't have any of them, but as we move forward, you will see that the guest registration card and the guest statement will be added here. And those documents can serve as the final submission document to you as a professor. So let's go ahead and try to check the guest in. So I will click on check in, and you will see that a new window pops up, which highlights for me the guest name and the reservation number, the duration of stay, the number of adults. So the quick summary of this booking, and then I just need to confirm the check-in. So once I do that, the system, well, right now it tells me that the room is dirty, and that happens sometimes because we need to do a housekeeping, and I'm using one of the hotels that have been in use in the spring semester. So I'll just say confirm, but that would be an excellent learning opportunity for you to talk to your students what happens in a real life hotel if that's the case. So then you will see that the window updates, and it gives me a new page with the guest registration form. And that's a document that basically provides a summary of the entire stay. Some hotels still use it when they ask guests at check-in to sign and date this document, accepting the duration of stay and all of the information on this document and the total charges that the guests will incur. So you will also see, if we scroll to the very bottom of this page, on the very last line, you will see my username, which is my last name. So this is one of the ways for you as a professor, again, to identify that the guest, that the student who submitted this reservation, so in the guest name, they should use their own last name or their student ID, and that matches to the person who actually worked on the reservation. So that's just some of the tips that I have been using while teaching with Inroad, and that helps to understand that, you know, sometimes students may be dishonest, but very rarely. So, and this is a document that you may want to ask your students to save, but there will be one more document at the very end when you check out the guests. So if I just go back to the reservation where I was, you will see that right now my green box turned into a purple box, and it says that the guest is in-house. And right now you will see that the checkout button is activated. But I don't want to check out immediately, and I just want to show you a couple of things here. Normally, if we work on the basic reservation assignment, that's all that we do. We created a reservation, we check the guest in, and then we check them out. But when you work with more advanced levels of reservations, intermediate reservation, advanced, and so on, then you will need to work with guest folios, such as you can create additional charges. For example, I will add a line item, and there are already different types of charges that are preset in the system. So for example, let's say that I purchased something in a gift shop and I will need to enter an amount. For example, it will be $15, and then I will need to commit to this charge. So students will need to be creating these charges based on the scenario that they received. So for example, I will do one more just to demonstrate. And then in addition to that, then you can also work with every charge, such as if you click on it, you can modify and, for example, apply a discount and so on. More advanced levels of reservations ask students to work with different folios. And if you look right next to the guest folio drop-down box, there are options to delete a folio and to add a folio. So for example, I could create a separate folio for incidentals, and assuming that I'm on a business trip, I would move my gift shop charge, for example, to the incidentals folio, and then keep the room charge and parking for reimbursement from my employer. So then now if we look at the history, you will see that it expanded a little bit, such as I created a reservation and then I checked the guest in. And then if we check the documents, now you will see that this guest statement, guest registration card, I'm sorry, the PDF file is sitting here. So if I want to go ahead and check the guest out right now, I will click on checkout. And it warns me that I didn't save some of the information, which I will, of course, want to do. And then I will go ahead and check the guest out. Just give me a second. I will go back to the folio and click on save. So, and then try to check the guest out. So I will click on the large green checkout button. And now I will be required to confirm that I actually want to check this guest out. But you will see that we cannot let the guest go without the payment, and the system will prompt me or your students to complete the payment. So it automatically populates this window with that information that we entered when we were creating a reservation. So it has the Visa card ending with 111 that I entered when I was creating this booking. So I will choose to use this credit card. You can also change the payment method if for any reason you are unhappy with it. So, and then you will see that right now we see this final document, which is called guest statement. And it's very similar to the guest registration card that we saw at the very beginning. However, right now, it also has all of the incidental charges that I added. It also has the payment method, and it also shows that the balance is 0, so which means that the balance was settled for this reservation. So, and that's basically it. So for example, right here, students would need to save this file. They can print it out, they can save it on their computer and submit to you in the way how you prefer. So, and if I return back to the reservation window, you will see a pop-up that says that checkout was successful. So you can print it or you can close. And I will choose to close at the moment. So right now you will see that the status of our reservation has changed one more time, and now it says that it is departed. So we just went with you through the entire cycle of the guest journey with our hotel, from creating the reservation to checking the guest in, having some little charges during their stay, and then checking the guest out and settling the charges. So again, you can check the history here, and if your students forgot to save or download that PDF document, you can always come back and retrieve it in the section for the documents. So, and well, that's a very brief overview for how to make a reservation in Inroad. Do we have any questions at this point?
Katerina, we have
Yeah.
some questions from our viewers, which I really appreciate them. They've been very active. So I just want to cover them quickly so that everybody can also hear. First of all, one of our viewers ask about the cost, which we're going to cover in a second. But again, it's for the faculty members. There is no charge for you, uh, even for you to test the system. So we'll be happy to give it to you, username, password, just like Katerina is doing right now. You can do it. In my opinion, it's very useful. Even if you're not going to use the system, adopt, you are welcome to use it. So that's number one. And if you are interested, we'll send you the instructions in a second. Somebody asked how I can sign up, which we will show also. And we answered about the rubric before, that you have an answer key, as Katerina has shown very nicely. And then you can decide what you want to do with that or not. And the other viewer asked us, is there is no requirement for you before you make a reservation to check the history. Yes, normally when we teach this to our students, we always ask them to search. As a matter of fact, one of our assignments is built on that one. So the students have to search
Yes.
for a reservation that they have
Mhm.
done before. Then they pull up that information. Also, we also teach them. See, that's the theory part that you can do in your classes, because I always tell the students that not only that's good for guest history, so in the future the guest comes again, you will save a lot of time for the address, for the name, for their likes and dislikes, so to speak, but also to be able to build what we call customer database, CRM, to be able to do customer relationship management. If they had a complaint in the before, so you can actually utilize that one. Tell the students like, look, this person had complained before, the AC was not working in his or her room, make sure that this time it works, or whatever that might be. So yes, you do that. And we are also doing, we already covered about the duplicates with the, either I like to use the last name of the students, like they make a reservation, whatever that is, underscore their last name. I'll tell you one quick story, that students cannot delete each other's reservations once they make it. In one of the early days that I actually, the students had the power to delete their names, and then it happened accidentally, and this doesn't happen. So the students, if they make a mistake, they can make another reservation, and from their last name or student ID, you can find them easily. So I'm going over the questions again. And oh, somebody asked, is this software associated with housekeeping functions, such as assigning room, dirty room, guest booking out? Yes, exactly. Katerina did not show the housekeeping function, but yes, there is one. And actually, she is just showing you, as I explained this, that once the room is checked out, just like she did in the example here, this particular room actually is marked as vacant and dirty. So checked out, right? It's vacant, but it's not clean. It's dirty. You can see very easily with the color code. So in our assignments, we also tell the student to go into the housekeeping and imagine that they got a call from the housekeeper saying that the room is clean now, so that they mark the room clean. We also explain to them that in some advanced models where the students actually, I mean, in a hotel, housekeepers can access this software, they can actually change the room status themselves as well. Yes, there is actually more. There is revenue management functions, etc. We don't, in this very limited time, we cannot show all of them to you, but we've got quite a few different exercises. As you can see, Katerina has changed all the status of room to green. That's vacant and clean. You can see very, very easily. Another question came, suppose that company have credit agreement with a hotel, how to settle that account in the system? Very easy. This system is not tied up to any credit card merchant system. Obviously, the reason is very simple. It is actually a real system, but there is no university hotel. That's kind of like a pretend hotel that we create for the purposes of your class. You will have your own hotel with your class, by the way. But if the students put a credit card number, which is fake credit card number, by the way, then this goes nowhere. It stays in the system. It just shows the students that they can actually use a credit card. In real systems, they can swipe the credit card or insert that one. So that one answers.
Well, I wanted to add to this question. If I understand this correctly, then The question is about a corporate account with this specific company. So that particular scenario would be very similar to a travel agency reservation that I was talking about. We don't have specifically an assignment for a corporate type of relationship between a hotel and a business, but it would work in a very similar way to a travel agency. And if someone is interested, we always invite all faculty members to work with Dr. Jihan and myself to create more assignments. And we will be happy to make it a part of the program and put it here online. So, but the logic would be, so let's say that the hotel has a partnership, some sort of contract with Coca-Cola. So then we would create an account, a corporate account for Coca-Cola, and then we would link reservations to that account. I will see if this particular hotel has any travel agency accounts so that I can quickly show you how it will look like. So for example, yes, we do have a lot of different travel agency accounts. So if we take one of them, then you will see that there is an account for this travel agency, and then the reservations that were made under this travel agency would be linked to that account, and then the travel agency receives a commission. But for a corporate account, that reservation would be linked to the specific company where the reservation is coming from, and then in the payment options, when you are checking the guest out, you can bill to that company. So then a separate line will be added to the payment methods so that you can do so.
And also, you can just do the same thing for group reservations. The same idea apply to. Usually, we even have an assignment about a wedding, group that people can create a group reservation and individuals can pick up the rooms if they want to. So it's quite comprehensive software because it's used in the real world. And we did not mention this earlier, but I just want to mention to all of you who are thinking about adopting this, the students actually can put this software in their CV, in their resume. When they are looking for a job, this is really handy. As a matter of fact, several of my students, I know this from my experience, have used Inroad, and they put Inroad property management system, which actually got the attention of some hotels, especially in front office positions, and it was very positively received well. So you could actually, we did not, never came to that stage, but Katerina and I, with the help of Lena, one of our PhD students, is actually working on a certificate program. So once the student finishes Inroad in your classes, that they can take actually a test, and if he or she passes that, this one is in the final stages. We did not finalize it yet, but if there is any interest from your students to do that, we are happy to maybe even pilot that with your students. Katerina, I think this is it for the questions, and we are how many minutes right now? So we almost 1 hour, perfect timing. If there is any other questions, I'm gonna go back to our last slide in our presentation, share with you, and then we will finish it. Here this is the last slide, right, Katerina?
Yes, that's right.
We all get the question and answers throughout the session, but if anybody, I don't know if Gözde is still here, Gözde Türktarhan, but if she is here, maybe she can share with us her as a first-time person, as an instructor and a student as well. People often ask me, how long do I have to invest? For example, if Professor Thomas Gomez, who is, actively watching us, if he says that I would like to use this, Jihan, but I don't have time, how much time do I need to spend to learn this system? I will tell you frankly, all you need is about 3-4 hours of your concentrated, focused attention. Katerina is excellent teacher. She can sit with you on a one-to-one session. You don't even need it, but if you need it, or I am happy to do it, or Lena, one of our students or graduate students, happy to do it. And then you can just learn that very quickly. and then you can adopt this into your classes so easily because we have all the assignments, and you don't have to use all 8 or 9 or 10 assignments that we have. You can say, maybe I'm going to do 4. You can do 1, 3, 5, and 7. So that's all possible for you. And if you are would like to if you would like to use the system, either email me or Katerina, or our common email, inroad@m3center.org. And Gözde is here. Gözde, I see that you just joined. Thank you. Would you like, oh, here you go. Gözde, you just joined us, I guess. Thank you. I mentioned your name earlier. As a first-time user of, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Gözde? You are muted. If you unmute yourself, you are muted. Yeah, here you go.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. Would you mind sharing with us very quickly your impression of Inroad as a first-time user last month when you were helping with the class in Taiwan?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much for asking me my opinion. Actually, I used this software for the first time in the course that we taught together, Dr. Chobanol at National Kaohsiung University of Taiwan. And like me, students in Taiwan were using this software for the first time, like me. And I can say that this software is really user-friendly. I mean, it's pretty easy to understand. The software offers many ways to do something like check in or check out, and I think it's important in terms of providing the real life experience, to students and the hoteliers of the future. I mean,
Wonderful. Thank you, Gözde, so much. I appreciate.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And also, there were a couple of other questions. Somebody asked for the emails, which we are happy to send you. Katerina has posted them, but we will also follow up with an email after this. Somebody asked, is that $15 for the all modules combined? Is it the cost per module? No, it's the whole thing. You get everything here. I mean, the inroaduniversity.com is available anyway, all of them. But using the software for a semester is $14.99 for the students. And in some cases, Katerina, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, that a student has used Inroad in 2 different courses. And I don't think that they had to pay again, right? Once they got it one time.
Yes, that's right. Yes, we have had cases when several professors from the same university would use the system, and then we would basically create a student account for life, so that as the student moves through their program, if they are required to use Inroad again, they can reuse their account.
Yeah, and the small cost supports the graduate student who's going to support you and your students throughout the semester. And we, Katerina, do you know how many active instructors are using on an average? I don't remember the number.
Well, every semester we have about 25, 30 schools, and that usually changes from the fall to the spring semester because some classes are offered only in the fall or only in the spring. So taken all together, it's about 50 different universities, and we have more professors because, as I mentioned, in some schools we have several professors using the system.
Right, thank you. And thank you, Professor Gomez. I got your nice message in the chat. If you wanna, anybody, if you'd like to say anything, feel free to turn on your camera and maybe ask a question or just share your views about Inroad, what you thought about it. Professor Gomez, how about you? Since you already.
Thank you. First of all, I met with you in a chimney conference in London, 2018. So I really impressed the way that the whole session is organized. And I used to work in a hotel, and it is very good correlation with having a practical experience in the classroom.
Great, thank you.
And it's very useful. Definitely, I'm going to contact, and I am working with the School of Management Agenda in Vancouver now. I'm the program head, BHM program head. So definitely, I'm going to contact with you of using this software in my classroom.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyway, thank you very much to having this opportunity.
of
Thank you
course.
again.
Thank you. We appreciate you, and we appreciate all of you. There are still 25 people are here. That's wonderful. You know, they came and they stick until the end. Also on YouTube, there are I think few people. Let me just double check, Katrina, before we finish. If there's any questions in there. Okay, there is no question in YouTube. So, Katrina, is there any last minute things that you want to share? Everything is good?
No, I don't see any other.
Wonderful. I think we have a viewer from Russia. I couldn't read his or her name, but Ma, do you see that, Katerina, in the chat?
From Ukraine? Yes,
Oh,
that's Larissa.
very nice, very nice. Okay, thank you all of you one more time. Have a wonderful evening, day, night, wherever you might be, as we have many people from different parts of the world. We appreciate you. Katerina and I will follow up with you in the email. You know our email, inroad@m3center.org. Feel free to email us. Thanks again for coming and being part of this wonderful webinar. Have a nice day.
Thank you.